everybody, and welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for weekly Project Zomboid updates. This week, there's not too much to talk about, to be honest with you, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that they are well away at work at all the things happening behind the scenes. But they have, of course, delivered on a blog update, and I do, as always, encourage you to go check it out and read it. There are a few links that I'm not going to click because they contain what they consider spoilers, so if you want to see those, make sure you head over to the blog itself and check it out. But more importantly, what did they release this week? What did they talk about? And honestly, as far as like the metagame goes, or how the game development is going, or other new implementations, or potentially videos of the metagame in action, none of that. They said they do not want to show off the metagame until they are 100% positive that things are polished enough to show it off. And honestly, you can't really blame them for that. It's something very difficult to say, oh, well, I want to see your broken metagame that you've been taunting about. Please, show us it in all of its buggy glory. I wish to then yell at you about it being poorly implemented, and then you can tell me how wrong I was for wanting to see it. Again, something that is fine. They're going to show it us eventually. Just got to trust them that it's in the works, and I don't see why they wouldn't be. Otherwise, they would have disappeared by now. So, what did they introduce this week? Well, they tell you what everybody's still doing. Lemmy's still working on NPCs' behaviors. We got Binky still doing his thing. Romaine is continuing on his quest to rejig the skill system, and I apologize if I completely butchered your name. Mash has been working on her wonderful pixel art, and here's a sweet picture of some of the stuff that she's got going. Again, that looks awesome. Every time I see more pictures of Mash doing her pixel art thing, and actually showing us some of the new stuff that's going to be in the map, I'm constantly more and more reassured that this whole, I think I said it in my first Mondoid, the whole I'm worried that a game this big is going to get repetitive looking. It's not. So far, things look excellent, and I'm really excited to see it all in action. But the big thing that they're talking about this week is the stories and how they're going to implement the Bald Spot story, amongst others. And also, I have a new fun game to play, apparently, is where have they hidden the Mondoid blog link this week? I don't know if you guys know, but they tend to link my Mondoid video update every single time, so that's awesome, and I give them huge props for that. It's very cool of them to do. So what are they talking about? Like I said, the story. They're talking about the Kate and Bald Spot story, which is almost essentially done. They have the whole story written out. They kind of know what's going to happen with it. They talk about what the plan is to have Bald Spot and Kate, have the whole Bald Spot heal up Kate, and then have like a road trip essentially with them, getting them to somewhere safe, and move on from them. And as always, they want that story to act as a tutorial for the player. And one of the things they said they want to do at the end of said tutorial is open the game up. After you're done with the story, bam, but now it's an open world and you can do whatever you want and play the game from that point. There will, of course, be other stories and side things happening, and the whole metagame could completely change all that, which they're actually talked about a little bit, saying they're not quite sure how the metagame is going to work with the stories, but they're going to have it all figured out, hopefully relatively soon. They also talk about, by the way, they also say, Will and Ringard have done a phenomenal job with all the writing and everything, and that does not surprise me whatsoever. I'm very excited to see what they've coming up with. But they've also said there is a whole new story that they've written. Story 2, it will introduce 2 new characters, of which that will then introduce the camping and farming aspects of the game. It's like an advanced tutorial, so to speak, of introducing all these things. Then they'll have a story. And in this little piece of art right here is kind of cool because it shows them at the farm that we all know and love. And, by the way, here's a spoiler. Go click on that if you want to know what that picture is of a character that their Bald Spot's going to meet. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. The idea of having that advanced tutorial with on a new map, crossing over all kinds of stuff, maybe even running into characters from the old story or another story altogether, of which that teaches you all the other stuff that you need to know about this game if you want to play the game and survive a long time. And that's awesome. I'm actually really happy to see that they're thinking about implementing a second story. Whether that comes with RC3 or not, we don't know. But the idea that this exists, the idea that they want to have a secondary tutorial which they tell a whole new story and they teach you all these new things is awesome. And that's one of the things that I love about tutorials nowadays, and even in general, is that they can now tell a story. It's not just take a look at the sign, read the controls, and go play. They can actually tell a story and introduce challenges along the way, of which you have to implement things you've just recently learned to get over. So, obviously, this is all kinds of going to be things that you're going to be looking forward to when the new thing comes out. I'm more personally looking forward to finally finishing Kate and Bald Spot's story and see where that is planned to go, what's going to happen. They even say Kate and Bald Spot will go on a long journey over the map to an as of yet undisclosed undisclosed location, and the stories we tell will cover people they meet and places they'll go on their travels, sometimes from their perspective and sometimes through the perspectives of others, which also is quite awesome. Will is hoping for a zombie road movie vibe, which is actually really cool. Always trying to think of The Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2 and even 3 to some extent, or at least the beginning of 3. Other than that, they're concluding with, how they're just basically working on metagame. Potentially next week we'll see something awesome on the metagame. We don't know yet, but the fact that they're keeping the Mondoid updates rolling in is awesome, and it gives me something to read and be excited about. And this, in my opinion, the Monday update blogs have almost single-handedly kind of brought the excitement back to this game, where they were silent for so long. We didn't know what was going on. There were worries that the game was just going to disappear off the face of the planet. We weren't sure what was going on. Now they update every Monday, and you can even see it in the forums if you guys visit the forums. The community itself is kind of re-energized for this game. They're back. There's lots of posting going on, lots of speculation, and the fact that we do see screenshots and videos of all these things being teased is quite cool. So, unfortunately, Mondoid was a little bit shorter this week, but that is to be expected. We can't get a 10-minute blog every single time. I do highly encourage you to check up all the spoilers, and you can click on the stream of updates that they're going to be introducing, all this cool stuff. And from there, I will see you next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, if you enjoyed what you have seen and heard here, feel free to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for supporting me in everything I do. Our growth, and as far as the channel has gone, has become an exponentially steady thing, and I'm very happy about that. So thank you guys so much again. And I will see you next Monday, if not tomorrow, here on my channel.